We moved in yesterday.
Oh, was it yesterday?
We closed on our house a week ago Thursday,
Oh, and
but
the movers
the
came.
movers didn't come to unload both the pods. We have so many stories to tell, but I thought we'd just focus on this morning when we woke up with all of our stuff scattered about the house. And we thought we had some of the basics where we needed it. And first, you went to take a shower.
Finding soap. Oh, well, no, actually going to the Lowe's to pick up a rod for the just to
Yes,
hang
the
a
one rod that was
shower
here
curtain.
did fit shower. So you went and got a
Got
curtain
a
rod.
curtain rod and put up the shower curtain. Then it was the hunt for soap.
Guess you use shampoo because we didn't find it
I
before your shower.
soaped up my head really because I got a lot of hair. And then just washed my body with that same soap.
So I went around singing, "Oh, I wish I were a little bar soap," because we had like all our other toiletries, but our bar soap. So I'm opening boxes. Meanwhile, you decide to get ready for work because you have some appointments
Yes,
today.
and so I'm trying to find my computer. And I thought I lost my computer. And it searched and searched, called out to
Well,
the
I said my mom has caregivers for my dad. I said, I think today's the day when it's an afternoon caregiver, not a morning. So just call mom. So you call her on
because
the
we had been
mobile
staying at her mom's for the last a
week.
week in waiting to move in.
So you call her on
And
the mobile.
she's on the decompression table at her chiropractor's as she answers the phone. So I said, "Why did you answer the phone?" But she couldn't help me, so I ended up calling into the house. Like he said, you had a caregiver there. Talking to her, she searched around the house to see if I'd left it there. Couldn't find it there. Kept searching and searching, digging up, looking through.
Meanwhile, I'm looking through boxes for soap, finding everything but soap. And I never knew I'd be so excited when I found a box and it actually had bars of soap in it.
And I finally came back into this little room we're in right now, which is kind of the spare room, the extra room, and just happened to notice it underneath a shelf,
Oh, there's a little end table in here.
little end table, and there's a shelf, and it was kind of back in the back of that. So we found that, got that straightened out.
And all the stories that go through our head in the process. Like we love the people that unloaded us. They're the same people that because we packed our own boxes, but they loaded the pods up for us and then they unloaded yesterday. But my mind goes to, did someone steal it?
Yeah, yeah, that went through that too. Then also this morning I had thrown in a load of wash into our new, well, not new, they're the washer and dryer that were left here at the house.
They're commercial grade Maytag. So we're like, oh, wonderful.
Yeah, but maybe not so wonderful because
The dryer's not drying really well.
the dryer's not right. So I had to get a hold of we have a warranty now on our home, a home warranty. And so I had to call them, get that all straightened out. They almost weren't going to do it because the payment hadn't come in from the lawyers
Oh,
on the
really?
closer.
That's still
So,
getting
so
settled.
she said it usually takes a while, but she was nice enough to go ahead and put in the request. So we're waiting for
Oh,
a call
I
from her.
didn't know about that little caveat that
Yeah,
almost got
so
in the
this is
way.
it's the fun of moving, and everybody, I think we've had more people tell us that, it's a life of confusion for the next probably couple of weeks, I would imagine, till
And we
we
look
get.
at our language of how we phrase that. So it's going to be a little more challenging finding things rather than painting the picture that it's going to be a life of confusion, talking about using our words with intention and manifesting what we desire. This is a very long story. This is Gina,
And I'm Don.
and this is Focused Healthy Family. And thank you for joining us because we did not have a podcast last week, the first time we missed a week because we were at closing.
And I don't know the podcast number. I think it's 81. I think it's 81.
This is a random numbers podcast.
But we'll count it as 81, I think, because I believe that's where we were. Because we missed, and we apologize, we missed last week, but that was a crazy packing time.
Thursday was closing. Well, the day that the podcast was due to air was closing day.
Yeah, and trying to get one done on that Wednesday when we were trying to get out of the house. We were there till 1:30 in the morning, you know.
Getting the last
So,
of our stuff
but
out.
today we're just kind of generally talking about communication. We've got an interesting quote that we're going to do here in a minute, but let's give it a break for our sponsor.
Our sponsor is Q Sciences. I've been a representative for Q Sciences for over a year. I found this company through a friend and did some research and reading about these products. And I really liked what I found when I learned about them. The research and time that they've put into the quality of these products to be better absorbed into the body. Things like the vitamin D spray. Our youngest was on a capsule vitamin D, and yet vitamin D levels remained the same with follow-up checkups. And with the spray, it increased.
Pretty strong.
Almost double.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking her levels were maybe 20, and I want to say they went up to 47 or something around that range. And the sleep spray is another great one. It's got melatonin, 5-HTP, and I believe another herbal supplement in there. And because it's a spray, you spray it on your tongue, it gets absorbed more quickly into your body to be more effective to help you in the moment. We're using the B12 spray. We've used the vitamin C spray. They have a Q Max product, which is a multivitamin.
And they also have the CBD, different, a variety of different.
It's full spectrum hemp oils. Yes. They even have a THC free version. It comes in different flavors. There is a mushroom.
Oh yeah.
Armor. It's called Q Armor. It's a powder, and I get the chai flavor. Put it in my chai tea for a double chai drink.
So instead of as they say, flushing your supplements down, well, the toilet or the drain, you want to get something like this that's fully absorbed. It's like flushing money down the toilet too, if you're not using a supplement that absorbs well and does well for your body. So that's what Q Science is really about. It's a good, well absorbed, high nutrient product.
They have multiple products. They have child specific products. They now also have some facial cream products. I've been using a night cream to minimize the effects of sunlight and stress and aging on my skin. And they have a hemp lotion. That's also a wonderful product that we've tried. So check us out, learn more. You can find the link at our website,
www.focusedhealthyfamily.com. You can also go to focusedhealthyfamily.com/Q Sciences, the letter Q and Sciences.
with an S at the end.
With the S at the end, yes.
So this is how to be good at talking. You start with a polite greeting. Then you give your name, a relevant personal link, and then you manage expectations. So, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Polite greeting, name, relevant personal link, and manage expectations. It's from one of our all-time favorite movies. If you don't know, it's from The Princess Bride.
Yes.
And that is the whole premise of the movie, is he's trying to find the six-fingered man who killed his father.
Well, and we're kind of, just generally talking about communication and how important it is, because we've had to do a lot of good communication here lately, just with all the buying and selling of properties. The communication has to be very important to get everything. And we luckily, our agent.
Yes, shout out to Scott Carpenter, who works through OfferPad. He's an amazing realtor in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. But yeah, we were in constant communication with him over text, over email, by phone. Any issues we had, we were always open with him, and he was open with us, and it made for a much smoother process.
Yeah, he was very straightforward too. He didn't,
Which we thoroughly appreciate.
Yeah, he would look at a home and kind of critique it in a good way, but also he'd point out the bad as well as the good, or the things that we'd want to watch out for. And it took us this was number 5 that
And
we
we
put
made
offers
offers on. Yeah, we're not sure when we started looking. There's a little bit of a discrepancy in our memory. I thought it was more like May that we started the process of considering selling our house, because it was the hot summer when we held a garage sale. Well, we won't fight over dates right now. His ability to communicate, though, and to speak up for us and to advocate for us and to say, hey, there's these problems in the crawl space and this needs to be repaired. We need the money for it. And Eddie from OfferPad, the amazing mortgage agent, I don't know his title.
He's the one that worked all the numbers, and
he was our numbers guy between selling our house numbers, right?
Yes.
And buying our house. We used the same agency. And he, when I met him on the phone, he said, I'm a 50-year-old dad and I don't, it's like, I'm just straightforward. I'm, going to tell you the truth. I forget how he phrased it, but it was of that just honest communication and no BS. And
well, he was a researcher and digger. He found different programs that brought our interest rate down, that got us money.
The house we first put an offer on was $5,000 over what we had approved for, and he found this special program where we pay 3%, the government pays 2%. We don't have to pay private mortgage insurance. So, anyways, we wound up backing out of that house because of so many problems it had on inspection. But then we had this new program to utilize, and then we wound up buying a house that was back to our original budgeted amount, which was $10,000 less than what we were going to spend on a house. And yeah, so communication is what helped make all these things possible, that we let them know what we needed. Look, Eddie, we need the payments to be below this level. And he was great about working the numbers backwards and figuring out interest rates. And as we were going through the process, without communication.
Well, that's what we teach. And, just as a little promo, I guess, is that we're hoping in January, probably mid-January or February, to begin doing our How to Talk So Kids Will Listen workshops.
Again, as well as getting out and speaking about how to talk, to communicate with aging parents and loved ones and dealing with caregiver situations. For a lot of us, that is while juggling raising our own family. Even if our kids don't live at home, we might be supporting them financially or emotionally in some fashion. We are in the midst of that. We have a 14-year-old at home. We have a 21-year-old who could be moving back at home. So as we looked at houses, we wanted to consider that. Our 25-year-old's been great and supportive, and he's really paid attention in the whole process of buying a house because that's something he hopes to do in the very near future.
So, I just recently had somebody that I had talked to a networking group about communication. And it was interesting that this has been, gosh, that was probably 2.5, maybe it was before COVID. So it's been about at least 3 years that she called me up and she said, could you send me that information about how to start a conversation? I had done a little flyer that talked about, well, one of the big things she was looking for was the words you shouldn't use. And should is one of those. Mm-hmm. But I have a list of about 10 words that are not good words to use because they're they're
conversation stoppers.
Yeah, they trigger anxiety. They make for poor communication. Like the should is one of them.
But
yeah, always and never can be.
Because what is not many things are always or never.
Yeah, and well, when you're in the middle of a rough conversation or an argument,
you always do that.
They come out really powerful, and they kind of lock it in your mind that it's true.
I love you, honey, but
I love you, but what? Wait a minute, so it's how you talk to somebody makes a huge difference. And one of the things I know we talk about is how you respond to somebody. And it can make the difference between we say a 15-minute conversation or an hour-long battle, argument, whatever you want to call it.
And people talk about nonverbal communication and how essential that is. Tone of voice,
body
language, expression, and little words can create tension and put a halt to things. That's why sometimes I love communicating by text with my kids, even when they're in the house, is it kind of takes away
the emotions,
that tension, and you can be very intentional with your words when you're typing. A but's not going to come out, or you should, or you can type that, but you can also look it over before you send it. You have that moment of pause, stopping and thinking before we speak. Things have been very tense the past couple of days between us and our 14-year-old especially, and just things like figuring out food and finding things. And we've been going back and forth between staying at my parents' house and getting things settled in the new house. And it's about an hour and 10 to 15-minute drive in between the two houses. Where we used to live, it's basically halfway in between that.
Yeah.
And our son was about 30 minutes from us. He used to be 15. Where am I going?
I don't know. Well, it's that I guess I wanted to
the tensions between us. So we've been reacting more to each other. There's been, less. We've been overtired and stressed and eating different foods than usual. I've had a headache for a while, and so all that adds to being in that stressed mode. And when we're in that stress mode is when we more often react than respond to people.
Yeah.
And it creates.
Well, I wanted to be kind of the counterpoint on the text, though. Well, just in the fact, because it can also, though.
Are we on CNN? Last time I heard that.
I think of SNL, but I won't go in that one.
You're blending into the wall.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't wear a good contrasting shirt today.
Oh, I didn't anticipate sitting on the floor doing this, but that we were going to do it outside anyway. So just as a
counterpoint.
Well, on the text, the other side of it, though, it can leave others to kind of guess what the mode is behind it.
There's certainly times when it's better talking in person.
Yeah, it's kind of a fine line. I mean, text can be good, but
different situations.
Yeah.
When I want my daughter to come down for dinner, sending a text.
90. Rather
than, hey, get down here. Your butt down here for dinner.
What's wrong with that? I grew up with it's dinner time.
Except you weren't coming downstairs because we lived on a one-story house.
Or my neighbor across the street, when she used to call, she had this high-pitched, really irritating voice, and she'd be calling her kids in for dinner. From play. We used back then we'd be out playing all day.
Back in the
day. And she would just and it was just ear piercing the way she would do her screams and her calls for her kids.
And we don't realize kids, especially highly sensitive kids, we might not think we're yelling, but a slight raise in voice. We have a kid who just registers that as yelling and they feel scolded and in trouble. And it might just be I'm raising my voice because my hearing is not the way it used to be, and I don't know if people can hear me, or I've got things on my mind. You're slouching, honey. I like this, though. I look taller than you.
I know. Well, we're sitting on the
floor.
On
a really old couch cushion.
That's all we could find. No.
Yes, this is the neatest room in the house right now. There's nothing in it.
Except a few things.
And we won't show you the rest of the house today, but maybe future podcast. I
don't know if we can safely get through it.
Future podcast.
Or the garage, which is like jam-packed.
I was in the house directing where boxes go, and I had no idea you were just having them stack things in the garage. With anything labeled with certain bedrooms and bathrooms, I wanted to put in those areas. And then we're all done. And then I opened the garage door. Oh my gosh, it's like wall-to-wall boxes in here. I wanted to go put the recycles out. We have recycle bins now. We live in the city and we have garbage pickup and recycle pickup. But I'd have to literally open the garage door, we have piano music this morning. I have to open the garage door, walk around to the other side to get to where those bins are.
Yeah.
To put recycling in. And
We're recording.
we're on a podcast. Would you like to say hello?
But you were off.
No.
Yeah. Give us 2 more minutes, please.
Could you end?
2 more minutes, please. Thank you.
Communication.
So,
It's time to wrap up for today.
well, we know this was short. We just
Please
wanted to
keep-
at least keep the momentum of our podcast going. So that's why.
Reach out, connect with us. We're still on Facebook, Instagram, Focused Healthy Family, our blogs. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know what topics you want to hear more of. And remember, how you speak to your children today shapes their future and yours.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye bye.